joining us. We are here with Terry Romero, author of Viva Vegan. We're very excited to be here because Terry's going to show us how to make a delicious vegan Latino dish.
It's true. We're going to make today Arroz con Seitan. And Seitan is a meat substitute made out of wheat gluten, and you can make it at home. But I made a little bit beforehand, so we can just get right into it. So let's get started, okay?
Great.
And you could even cut.
Terry, tell us a little bit about the ingredients you're going to use for the meal today.
Yeah, so I'll go over them. So I was talking about Seitan before. So this is Seitan, wrapped carefully in foil. I made this myself, and the recipe's in the book. It's really easy. I know it doesn't look like much now, but when you slice it up and you fry it or you bake it or you use it in like as a filling for like tamales or empanadas, it's really, really great. It has a chewiness, like a meatiness. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice it with the chef's knife.
So what exactly is in that?
So
what is it made of?
It's made out of wheat gluten, which is sort of like, in flour, like where you make dough, the stretchiness in dough.
Yeah.
That's the gluten. And what this is, it's actually wheat gluten flour. So it has all the starch removed out of it. So so it's actually very easy to use. And it's seasoned with vegetable broth, with herbs and spices, olive oil, some tomatoes. Like, it's got a bunch of things in it to sort of give it a little flavor and texture. Lots of garlic. And
that sounds very delicious.
Yeah, so it's you can use, tofu and tempeh are what most people think of when you think about cooking with vegan stuff, but I think seitan works really well with Latin food, especially, because it has like a nice meaty quality to it, and sometimes you can even fool people. Sometimes.
Because of the texture.
Yeah, it's got a meatiness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to marinate it in a little bit of lime juice first, and olive oil.
So you mentioned tofu, Terry. There's actually kind of a controversy behind tofu, is what I hear. Some people say that it's actually not that healthy, that there some tofu that is genetically modified, and so they try to stay away from tofu, and that's maybe why some people are a little hesitant to going vegan, vegetarian. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think when it comes to tofu and soy in general, there's not just one food you should be eating. You should be eating a variety of things. And with soy, there is genetically modified soy, but there's a lot of soy that isn't. There's organic soy. There's products made from that. And just kind of be an educated consumer. Go to stores, go to stores that have a reputation for carrying things that don't have are genetically modified, and don't eat it every day. And one of the great things about Latin vegan cooking is there's so many things like beans. Obviously you're going to eat beans, so that's another great source of protein. And seitan is something which doesn't contain any soy. I do use a little soy sauce in some recipes, but you can leave it out. And that's like another alternative form of protein as well. And I feel like if you're vegan or vegetarian, you're going to end up eating soy at some point anyway.
Yeah.
It's almost unavoidable. But there are other things you can alternate it with. Like there's almond milk when it comes to drinking.
Right.
You don't have to rely on soy milk anymore.
I love almond milk.
Yeah, and there's isn't it great? And there's an awesome coconut-based milk too, which is really one of my favorites. My answer to that is, unless you actually have an allergy to soy, don't be terrified of tofu. It's not going to hurt you. Just alternate it. Have other things as well. So, yeah.
Such a good advice.
Yeah.
What,
that's what I gotta say.
What kind of places do you shop for these ingredients?
I found that in New York City, there's more and more health food stores and more good places to go. There's the big guys like Whole Foods, and they have all kinds of stuff like this. But a lot of places are getting better and better stock. Where I live, there's a health food store that has, it's not, I say health food store, that sounds so old. It's a natural foods gourmet store. So a lot of gourmet stores are now kind of carrying these products as well. So, I don't know, look around. I feel like everywhere you go, there's some new place kind of popping up that, even big grocery stores, like the big suburban grocery stores, even have a natural food section now.
Yeah, I feel like people are definitely becoming more conscious about what they eat and they want to be a little healthier. And I did the nose thing again. Sorry.
It's fine. We went a while. So Esther, we can go over the ingredients for this.
Yeah, they all smell really great.
So here's our seitan hanging out. It's marinating. I'm going to be browning that soon in a little bit of olive oil. But before that, or rather after that, here's some other things. Since it's arroz, we have our arroz, clearly. You can use brown rice too, but you got to change the liquid amounts. And over here, I have lots of chopped up onions and peppers for like the basic sofrito to start up with.
That looks so good already.
Yeah, I mean,
just that alone.
I had to chop before you came because I'm going to start crying on camera, and we can't have that. Actually, we have had that in the past, but anyway, but it's fine. So a little bit of garlic, or a lot more garlic, depending on what you want. If you like garlic, a little bit of comino, gotta have that. Lots of oregano.
Oregano. My mom uses a lot of oregano in her meals.
Yeah, right. I mean, I use tons of it, and people that were testing my book were like, "Whoa, using so much oregano! Like, get used to it." So, yeah. So peas, I like peas. I always like peas in my rice. A little bit of tomato sauce. I have some carrots, and I have a secret ingredient I use is beer.
Beer?
I actually use beer when I'm cooking this rice dish.
Not to drink.
Not to drink. You can do that after. Or during. Depending. Okay, maybe it's that kind of day you just need a beer while you're cooking. But some beer actually goes into it, and because it gives a lot of flavor to something that's vegan, that maybe like people might think, oh, I want this to have a little more punch or a little more something like that. That's what I like to use, beer. I love the kind of the background flavor it provides.
Any kind of beer?
I mean, I use like Mexican beer usually when I'm making this kind of thing. It doesn't have to be like a dark beer. You want like a nice like lager.
But it doesn't really matter what
it doesn't really matter. Use your favorite beer. Use what makes you happy. And some olives with pimentos in them, and some capers, of course. So all this is going to go into our meal. So I'm going to get started with the seitan. Or you can go ahead and check those out. Yeah. You want? I'm going to start frying this. I want an action shot of frying seitan. Okay, so this has been going on for a while. Just kind of stirring that up so it's all kind of cooked and sofrito-y. So I'm just going to add everything in there now.
So just put in all the ingredients?
I'm putting it all in here. So I'm adding my rice. Okay. I'm adding oregano. This is what I like to do. I like to rub it between my palms.
My mom actually does that.
Really? Oh my God.
It's like a
so awesome
thing.
Right? It's satisfying. You want to try it? I think you should. I think show us how. There you go.
I feel like I'm being a chef.
Right. That's all you need to do. Just rub oregano. Things happen. Awesome. So, okay. I'm going to add my capers and my olives. Tomato sauce. I actually cheated. I used a little marinara, but do what you want at home, right? Don't tell anyone. And this is the magic ingredient of beer.
My favorite ingredient.
Right? And salt. So you can add really as little or as much as you want.
Do you usually measure out your ingredients, or do you just kind of?
The first time I do, I don't want to be like this totally crazy chef that's just, I actually really do get kind of scientific the first time around. But then, after a couple times, like usually I try to get the ratio of rice to water, like the basic stuff down. And a little crushed pepper. But after that, I'm like, whatever. Like the spices, the salt, all that kind of stuff.
So for somebody who's like starting out and kind of just picked up your book and wants to try something, would you suggest them like measuring everything out, or do you think they should just like throw things?
I'm kind of like, like measure it first, and so you don't blame me.
Really bad dish.
What the heck is this, Terry? What are you making me? Like try it out first, measure, and it depends on what level of cooking you are at.
Sure.
People that are really comfortable in the kitchen are probably never going to follow a recipe anyway.
Right.
I'm definitely guilty of that.
But this is definitely a dish that any kind of person can pick up and just get it going.
We just did it, This is basically it. I mean, besides that, I like to add a bay leaf, because you gotta add a bay leaf, right? Stick that guy in there. And, see, it's starting to boil, so I'm gonna let that, you gotta get that first boil of rice.
It looks really great, too, even just all of this together. Yeah, it's very, very so colorful.
Yeah. And after that, I'm gonna let this boil. And once it gets to a boil, I'm going to turn it down to a simmer, and then I'm going to poke my seitan in there. And we'll cover it, and we'll just let it cook for about 40 minutes or so until the rice has absorbed all the liquid and it's tender and fluffy.
Gotcha.
So it's starting to boil. Do you have any questions? I have questions.
It looks great. I'm just like mesmerized by the smell. I'm like drawn to it. It looks very Latino with all the colors, I have to say. And
right? Yeah.
The smell, it smells great. I don't know why people would be scared of going vegan. Or even just trying it out. Just trying out one dish.
One dish a week?
Yeah.
You know, what's the big deal? Like, you're going to be okay.
Survive.
You know, like, even if, like, you know, you're not an experienced cook or anything, you gotta try. Like, and we were talking before about, you know, like, how's your family react to this kind of stuff? Like, you know, do they give you a hard time? One of the things I find is just start cooking yourself. I think it's so important. I mean, I hate to break the news if you don't like to cook, but you probably should.
Try it once in a while.
You know, like, and, like, if you really are really want to, like, give, like, you know, like a vegan lifestyle, like the gung ho, like, go ahead and, like, try cooking, and you'll see that it's really not that big of a deal. So it's starting to boil, so I'm going to turn on the heat, and I'm just going to kind of throw our browned seitan in there.
It's actually funny that you say that because I tried cooking vegetarian tacos for my family.
Oh yeah, awesome.
Yeah, for me, they weren't the biggest fans of it.
Oh, what did you put in them? Tell me.
I used tofu.
Okay.
And just kind of used the other regular ingredients, beans.
Okay.
We use a lot of sour cream in our tacos. So
okay.
Kind of pretty much the same as regular tacos.
Right.
Some lettuce, tomatoes, onions. Nothing too fancy.
Okay, yeah.
But use tofu instead.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and it could not get them to like it.
No?
I had a good amount of leftovers for myself.
Good for you, yeah.
I'm upset about that.
Okay, yeah.
But it was definitely a little bit hard convincing them to
right.
like the tofu. I mean, it's a particular taste. I think, and when you're not used to that kind of texture, that kind of taste, it's a little.
It could be, yeah. Or I feel like maybe just don't tell them it's tofu.
Kind of trick them into it.
Right, and not even just say what it is. Like, here's a taco, because usually, like, with something like a taco, there's so much stuff on it.
And you can't really tell what's
going on.
You know,
there's like this cabbage, and there's all this, and there's all that. You know, you want to put things like, you know, as long as it tastes pretty good, you know.
So maybe it just didn't taste so good.
Right,
it's like trying to like.
Yeah. Have you gone to Papacitos?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, you got to go. They have 3 kinds of vegan tacos there. Yeah.
What do they use?
They have a homemade like vegan chorizo, and they do a tempeh taco, which is cool. Like I'm like, yeah, you know, we have a tempeh taco recipe in Veganamicon from way back from Veganamicon days, and they have a seitan taco too. So, you know, you can get like a whole spread of like these awesome like vegan tacos.
You're giving me ideas now too.
Yeah.
Try something else and then just not tell them.
I know.
Kind of push it.
Right, I'm like suggesting this underhanded, you know, vegan agenda, but it's just like, you know, sometimes you just can't say the T word.
Do you ever do that with like your friends or family members? I mean, your family must know that you're.
They know. There's no. I can't surprise anyone anymore. Surprises are all out.
But anybody that might not know, have you ever done that? Did you ever try to do that?
No, not really. I mean, like, it'll be more like, I think with like something like vegan baked goods, it's a little different. Like, you bring like, I brought like cupcakes or cookies to work. Yeah. And you put them down on the table where everyone is getting their coffee. You know, I've never said, hey guys, you know, by the way, these don't have eggs. People want their cookies. People want cookies. Yeah. People want cupcakes. You know, they're going to eat them.
And they still look delicious.
Yeah, and people are like, wow, that was great, you know, and like, you just ate a vegan cupcake, you know. It's like, doesn't, you know, that's probably the extent, really, what I would say.
And then it's still in their stomach, and I'm sure they're
right.
so satisfied.
And they're like, when are you doing this again?
Yeah.
So, you know, it all works out.